You hear it all the time, right? For any ancient tradition to survive, it has to change, it has to adapt to the modern world. But what if that's exactly wrong? What if adapting is the one thing that could actually destroy its entire purpose?
So that's really the big question, isn't it? When we look at a spiritual path like the Dhamma, Buddhism, is its survival really about becoming more like the world around it? Or is it about carefully preserving something timeless that, frankly, the world desperately needs? There's this one popular idea about it that we can call the amoeba theory. It basically says that a tradition like Buddhism is like a little single-celled organism. It has this fundamental drive to survive. And to do that, it has to keep changing its shape to fit whatever new environment it finds itself in. It's a compelling story, this idea of constant, fluid adaptation.
But, and this is a huge but, there's a critical flaw in that way of thinking. The amoeba theory is all about the survival of the institution, of Buddhism as a social movement. It completely misses the actual goal, which has nothing to do with group survival and everything to do with a profound personal experience for the individual. So let's try a different metaphor. Let's talk about the Dhamma tree. Now, this shifts our whole perspective. Where the amoeba theory is focused on the institution surviving and being popular, the Dhamma tree is all about an individual's inner release. The goal isn't to change to fit in. The goal is to nurture a whole, living system that's designed for one single purpose: freedom from suffering. To really get this, we need to look at the anatomy of this tree. Because it's not just one solid thing. It's a complete living system where all the different parts have a really important job to do. So the most visible parts of the tree, right? The twigs and the leaves. In this metaphor, that's things like the customs, the chanting, the ethical precepts. These are the outer expressions of the tradition, the parts you encounter first. Now, as we move inward from the leaves, we get to the bark and the softwood. Think of these as the protective layers of the practice. They aren't the final goal themselves, but they are absolutely essential for protecting what's at the very center. And this quote just nails it. The ultimate goal might be the heartwood, deep inside, but a tree that's only heartwood is a dead tree. It's a log. It needs the bark, it needs the leaves, it needs the whole living system to survive. So all those outer parts aren't just decorative, they are vital for keeping the entire tradition alive. Okay, so let's get to it. The center of it all. What exactly is this heartwood that everything else is designed to protect? The heartwood is the one single unmistakable taste of the Dharma. And that taste is release. This isn't a social thing. It's an internal movement, something that happens inside your own heart. It's a deep personal quest to find freedom from the things that cause you stress and suffering. And this is such a critical distinction. Our modern world often talks about freedom for things: freedom for greed, freedom to express your anger. The Dhamma offers something radically different. It offers freedom from those very things. So the goal isn't to adapt to values that promote greed and anger, but to offer a genuine path away from them. So if the whole point is to find this heartwood, how do you actually do it? What's your role in all this as someone trying to walk the path? Well, the core principle is really a kind of profound humility. The people throughout history who have benefited the most from this path, they weren't the ones who tried to bend the teachings to suit their own whims. Nope. They were the ones who tried their absolute best to fit themselves to the teachings. And there's a clear method for doing this. It starts with conviction. And I don't mean blind faith. It's more like a sense that, hey, these teachings are worth a real test. Then you have to commit yourself fully. A half-hearted effort isn't going to give you clear results. And along the way, you work on developing key qualities like mindfulness and concentration, which allow you to be a fair judge of the results, to see for yourself what's happening in your own life. There's this amazing old saying that just gets to the heart of it. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. Now, that doesn't mean you don't prefer freedom over suffering. Of course you do. It means that when you're on the path, you don't let your personal likes and dislikes, I don't like chanting, or I don't feel like sitting today, get in the way of doing what's actually required to get the results. So finally, what happens after you've tested this for yourself and you've found that it actually works? Well, then comes a certain responsibility. It stops being just about you. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a recipe for a powerful medicine written on a scrap of paper. If you've never tried it, well, it's just a piece of paper. You might even throw it away. But if that recipe saved your life, you would guard that scrap of paper with
everything you have. You would take very good care of it. You certainly wouldn't start changing the ingredients on a whim.
And that's exactly what the tradition is. It's not some arbitrary set of rules. It is that recipe. It's a living record passed down through generations by people who tested it, found that it genuinely leads to the end of suffering, and then took incredible care to preserve it for others. So, the final question I want to leave you with is this. In your own practice, in your own search for meaning, what part of the tree are you tending to? Are you just focused on the outer leaves, the protective bark, or are you doing the real work that's required to find the heartwood inside?